going to try something new today. Instead of going over the matches it plays out, we're going to instead use the replay. The idea here is to kind of think about, we can kind of go into a little bit of my thinking on the options and maybe what I feel is the right play now. And we can hopefully see any mistakes I made. Maybe it's just different choices. In the end, hopefully we can learn something about it together. Or, anybody out there can help me kind of see the light of day and show me what I'm doing wrong. But anyway, so we're starting here with the gray. This is my match with fourth queen in the International Yomi League. This is the week 2 match. I start out here with Grave, which is different. I had started mating Oni, but decided at this point that it was better for me to main somebody I can really just get the base fundamentals with before I start getting into a more complicated play. Not that Oni is like super duper complicated, but it was still probably more than I should have gone. Like I still felt I'd take that extra step. So this is probably going to be my main, but I'm also going to be going and figuring out my own series of counter picks for certain matchups that I feel comfortable in playing the character, even if I don't necessarily main it. So that's going to be my general strategy going forward. So here we're playing the gray. The big things to worry about with the gray are, of course, his point counterpoint, his dodge on his ace, and as far as speed attacks and everything else, we're going to outspeed a lot of them. The K attack we're going to be able to outspeed with the Q. Pretty much everything outspeeds Pile Bunker, but usually that's to kind of stuff my throws or to come off his own dodges, particularly the riposte. Other than that, we have the throw speed advantage, and we pretty much even out on the normal attack speeds for normal. So here in the open, really, as far as this matchup is concerned, going into it, I felt pretty safe going in opening with a block. He might throw something in there like a point counterpoint or an 8 or 9, probably more likely like an 8 throw instead of using a point counterpoint on the first one. But I wasn't really feeling like it was unsafe to do blocks here, so I went ahead and my play here would be to start with a block. I'd probably, looking at this, would probably rather start with the 6 than a 9, so I can at least have the throw if the block goes away. However, I'm probably pretty sure I played the 9 block instead. No, instead I played the jack. The ideas of playing the jack here could also be to beat his blocks. It's very possible I took him to put it on the block and figured that I'd get the jack back, do some chip. I wouldn't really be building my hand much, but that's also a good play. I probably would have been... Block would probably been a safer option, but there's nothing wrong with the jack here, I don't feel. Nothing to power up. We're going to go ahead and move on from that. Draw the 3. This is a pretty good draw. We got ourselves a straight action here. So here's a good spot where I could think about doing a draw. I'm not really expecting to use dodges early, so I'm not going to miss those. So I would think either here be another block opportunity or go ahead with the jab to try to get in the small run with Jack Ender. And that's exactly what I do. But it runs into a block, no big deal. I still get the card for it. He gets a card for it too, which I'm not too disappointed. That was the other thing I forgot to mention with DeGray, his moral high ground. His face cards get extra damage for the card difference. So I'm looking to kind of keep my hand count in line with his hand count. But we do draw another queen off of that, so that's pretty nice. Power's up for his ace, so we know he has at least the repost in hand. It's very possible you could have the double ace, but again, I'm not really too worried about that. Speed on that is 1.2. We have things to beat it. So Here, I already have a decent sized hand. I'm not really sure what to put him on. I don't feel I need to block or to try to build a hand here. Um, I could throw out the K to just try to get some damage in there. It beats a lot of his options. I'm not looking to throw because I really am not feeling. I don't feel comfortable with just throwing my only throw out there. So I'm taking the Q on this play, and that's what I do. Which beats his 2. He tried to jab me. Instead, I get to hit him for 10. No reason to power up those kings. But now we have a possible power up opportunity with the 9s. Pretty much we're in the same boat. I don't really want to throw another queen. I don't think it's necessary. We could think about separating those 9s and just throwing out a 7th throw out there. If we think he's feeling like he's going to dodge, use his ace. With his decent hand size, so that's a possibility. We could block here. We could jack again. We could king again. I think all those are good options if I was to pick one which I feel is the best. Well, let's say that I think offensively throwing the 7, excuse me, the 9 throw is probably a good one. And if I'm feeling more like an attack would work out, I might be alright throwing out the king out here. Just get some more damage in. And I do throw out the 9th throw. However, I get point, counterpoint. Face down here. It's probably an okay spot to face down, but I'm at full life. The reason would be the face down and to get my cart hand size down so I don't get too badly hit by moral high ground. It probably been worth here to put down the 6. I chose not to, and he's going to hit me with the jack ender for 2 extra damage on the end there. Putting down the 6, I may have been able to stop that extra damage, so that probably was a misplay because I really didn't need that 6 at the time. So, oh, looking at the hand here, we've got an 8th throw. It might be worthwhile to go ahead and run that out there. He may be willing to go ahead and jab me or to throw out something like a king. If I really put him on king, then I guess throwing out the queen out there would be okay. But I feel like putting out the 8th throw is probably the good lead here because I put him on trying to dodge me. And that's what I do. And I did call it. He dodged. Following up here is fine. I could also just go for the knockdown. Either's probably okay. Probably don't have to rush the damage at all. So not only did I knock one ace out, but I made him unable to play another one for the dodge side. As far as martial mastery is concerned, I don't value it highly as a throw in this matchup. As you see, I play it, so I am going to play it to try to get some value. Knowing his hand, he's got 2 kings, Joker, which is good to know. He did have another point, counterpoint, and that's the main reason why I don't feel 7 throws really as valued as it may be normally. He does have a troubles in rhetoric, so he has a nice little combo there with the rhetoric and a counterpoint. We have no more draw abilities. Here, I feel like I want to keep the jack back for mental toughness. To either, most likely to either stop a point, counterpoint, or a troubles in rhetoric if I get him further down. Knowing what I know, I feel like he was going to hit the king on the stand-up, so I think a queen's probably the play here. And that's what I do. He does play his block, however. It's very possible. One of the things I need to put it in my range is he knows that I know what he has, so he may be trying to counter what my best play is, knowing what his hand is, and that looks like probably was what he did. again, with what he has in his hand, he has a 3 and a 4, which are dodges. He has a 7 and 8 throw. I'm not really going to beat a 7. And he has the kings again. Now I can't beat the kings. So I could either dodge into a 9 throw, or I can go ahead and run up the throw if I think he's going to dodge. But really, I don't see there's any particular way he's going to play something that I'm going to throw off of. So I think either dodging here or blocking a possible king. I do go with a dodge. He does play the king. And I'll probably go for another knockdown here, especially after playing the face down. Get back down. No reason to power up those kings yet. It'll be good damage. Possible 3 power up. From this spot, he's still got another king that I can't deal with normally. I could look to dodge here. I could think that this might be a spot he might do point counterpoint. But that wouldn't exactly be the best move, because if I do decide to mix up normal him, that is not going to win against that. Having said that, it doesn't beat the king. We did get both kings now. It doesn't beat the king. But that's a weird spot. I'm thinking either dodge here or the 6 normal. So I went for the 3 normal, which did end up crossing him up. I don't know about breaking up the 3s. I don't think that was necessary. It's going to beat pretty much the same stuff. Not the only thing it beat. Well, it ties his 3 and beats his 4, which he doesn't have, actually. Sorry. It's a 2 and a 3. So he'd even have a 4. Yeah, I don't know about that 3. But it worked out. Doesn't necessarily mean it was the right play, but it did work out. We could go for the big damage here. We do know he has the Joker in hand, so this might be a spot he's definitely going to play it face down, which he does. We go ahead and power up the 6s for an ace. Start at least threatening those. No reason to go further than that. We get another 2 back. Here, and he still doesn't beat that king, so I don't feel good running that ace out there. We could poke. Follow-up could be something like a 2 double king jack. We could go for an 8th throw. We will get beat by the point counterpoint. If you're in here, some sort of poke, either king lead or 2, probably the best. Really don't feel like building much more of a hand. However, I do. Again, it seems to be right, and it's a reasonable play. Show the 2. It's a reasonable play. As you see, I might have chosen something a little different this time, but it was still a reasonable play at the time. I don't think it's necessarily wrong. All right, now we have 2 jacks. We either got to start using these or think about powering up to try to start threatening T-pots. Now that we know that king's out of hand, we're pretty sure he hasn't really powered up for his own aces. Well, we haven't seen power up for his own aces, so we're not really worried about the ace dodge. I think he's either going to work here to start blocking on his own, or I really don't think he has pretty much anything else. Or he might play point counterpoint. So throwing out a normal or throw, depending on what the range is. I think it's more likely he's going to play point counterpoint than he is the blocks. So I'm thinking any attack will do here. He did play as a block instead. Still get the draw. Excuse me, I forgot about the knowing the opponent, which also makes perfect sense by playing the 2. See, even I've got to learn how to pay attention to my own stuff here. So, good teaching tool. Which is funny that the the know your enemy did give me the queen regardless, so that's kind of funny. We really don't need the queen for anything specific. We barred 2 kings down. We could kind of throw it out there because we don't necessarily need to save it for that. I need to look here to kind of dump some cards, so it might be worth it to throw and dump king, king, jack. But I'm still feeling like it'd be best to kind of just attack here. Either the queen or king lead. Ace would be fine too. Go for the king lead. Hit his point counterpoint because that was still, we knew that was still in hand, so that does beat that. And we get to go full damage on him. Now, I'm not sure I went 5-6 unless I was already debating on throwing the jack. I think it might be better just throw jacks for maximum damage. 6 jack. Yeah, I didn't even power it up. So if I was going to make that play, I had it in mind to power up the jacks, and I didn't do that. So that's just a misplay. That's just missed damage. So definitely that should have been king, king, 6 jack. Got my joker. That's good. He really doesn't show he has any aces or anything here, so I think I'm just ready to just push as much damage as I can. Throwing the queen out here, the ace, and he's good. I don't think a throw is really going to work too much here. And if it does, it'll be hitting a block more than anything else. I do a throw, and I catch a king, and hit the king for it. Reasonable, but I still feel on his hand size that it was probably not coming. Now he has an ace we know about. It's possible he has another ace, so I do have to think about the ace. But it's a 1.2 speed, so my ace beats it, my queen beats it, so nothing to be too worried about. Again, I'm really looking to keep it on the throttle, so I'm thinking queen or ace here. And queen, which undercuts his 4th king. So we did a really good job of kind of sticking away from his 4 kings, which could be problematic. We do have a straight for the 3-4-5. I don't think we're in that kind of area of the game now where that's something I'm going to want to worry about. I think I just want to worry about getting the rest of the damage. Quick look, we don't have lethal options. Close but no cigar. I think we can do 20 is the most we can do. 7 plus 5, which is 12, plus 8, yeah, it's 20. So we can get him down to 3 with a throw. 9th throw here might be good to defend against his ace, which he may be looking to get out there, which he does. He plays a face down. I could disrespect it and put him down to 20, or I could respect it and still get him down to within kill range. I decided to disrespect it, so it puts him down to 3, which is in chip range of both the jack and the ace, which I think is a good play. I think it's the better of the two, just to go for it there. He's got plenty of cards back to continue if he does joker, and it puts his hand size up, so I'm not too afraid of blue burst from the gray. Here, 2 3s, 4, pretty much anything goes. He's probably going to look to dodge or block here. Actually, he probably doesn't want to block here because 2 things beat him, so dodge or try to catch me with a throw. We do know that all of his kings are gone. His next fastest is 1.2. So I think the ace play here is the best. It's going to give us the best results. Does dodge. I have my joker back. Don't decide to play it there, which I'm not sure what I'm waiting on. That seems like a good place to play it, or at least place any face down. So that's a mistake. Whether it's a face down or a joker is fine. I haven't used any jokers yet, so it's probably worthwhile to do that. Could power up for the ace here. Don't think it's necessary. We still have another option in the jack. Although I don't expect him to block at this point. But the jack is the fastest card we have. I think it's unlikely he'll, given his speeds, he could throw, and we could undercut his throw, or any attack would work. That seems more in range than anything else, except for maybe dodge into another pile bunker or something like that. So we jack into an ace that he had on. So we didn't know about the 3 posts, so probably playing the joker last turn was correct. However, our prior misplay led us into an ace, but he only has a jack. He only played a jack. He may have been scared of my face down. He may have decided at that point that maybe that's all his hand was. Maybe I don't put him on an evaluation trap. I'm not sure when I'm going for an ace here, because basically I just got a silent ace, and now we're into another ace. So I'm not sure what I was doing there. However, we drew into teapots. We can go for maximum salt. But the problem is the chip damage is only 1, and if he does block it, then we're really sad that we got rid of that. So I don't think teapots is right here. I think we roll out the K. Actually, I think we just mash A button, A button, A button. Instead, I roll out the throw and get pile bunkered. I am pretty much starting this game. Put another face down. He decides not to go with it, just goes to knockdown, which is perfectly fine. I was just looking to stop the bleeding and get my card size down, or my hand size down. Again, I'm still on, I feel like that should be the ace-ace play. Instead, I go 10 throw. It ends up working this time. Honestly, again, the ace would have beaten that block just as good as that throw. It would have beat a lot of his other options, beat every attack that he had. The aces were definitely a better way to end that out. But I didn't do that, so. Alright, so to the next one. Just pull this up very quickly here. Oh, I had it up over here. So I win match game 1. This is a best of 5. And that's his hand. Let's get rid of that. Okay. Now we're on my hand. So we have 3, 5, 7, 8, 9, 9. Could go for Martial Mastery for next turn. We have something to give us aces. No reason to really hold on these 9s. I think we could do an 8 or 5 block here. I think we value our 8 throw enough that we don't want to see it just wasted. We could go ahead and Q open. If Q, then Q play. Either is fine. Go for the block. And he does another block. So this is a second open for him, which he opens block. It's a good thing to note. I decided to go ahead and get an ace early. Could have waited to see if I pulled up another 9. But again, I want to keep my hand size kind of small. Or I decided not to play Martial Mastery there. Oh, we didn't discuss that one. But it seems fine. I wanted to, like I said, I want to keep the 8s. I do want to play Martial Mastery. I don't know why I didn't play it. We could have played the Qs, but no need to at this point. 1 second, I got a very upset puppy. Okay, upset puppy neutralized. So, no power up on this, obviously. Martial Mastery. Definitely should still want to play that out, just to get an idea what his hand's like. I'd again decide not to. I don't know if I decided I wanted to value the 7th throw. I don't at this point. Value it again as much. I mean, just gets beat by point, counterpoint. And he isn't really thrown too often, so. I think rolling out a queen here is fine. not too many things we're afraid of at this point, so maybe holding on to another one is okay. If I feel like a point counterpoint's coming, maybe the 5. Or just any old throw is coming out. I throw out the queen, and we get his 5. So it would have been a push if we'd done the other 5. Again, not making that, but I didn't want to make that seem that like that's wrong or anything, but perfectly fine. Got a joker. Finally played the martial mastery. Took me long enough. With this hand, probably ditch the 5 for potential. I don't want to split these. I want this. I want that. I want that. I want that. I want that. And I wanted to go with the counter. So 5 seems to be the one to go, and it does. We see his hand. He has a riposte all ready to go. He has a pile bunker all ready to go. 2 jacks. He's got some good enders. A lot of throws. And he has 1 3 attack and 1 6 attack. Probably most likely going to be what he's going to either a 9 or a 6 he'll block with. So I like a 10 actually. 10's fine. Get this. 10 doesn't have an ability on it. In any case, so we finished that. Given that, my 8 throw beats all his throws that's currently in hand, and if he decides to ace dodge, it's going to get hit. He could raw pile bunker me, but that is only 1 card event versus all the other cards he has in hand. So I think the obvious choice is the 8 throw. Given that, and if he's thinking about that, he may be thinking this is a good turn for me to throw him. Therefore, he may play pile bunker. So maybe it's better for me to play something like my ace or a block or something like that. So I guess it all depends on the read I got at the time. The 8's fine, attack's fine. I go with the ace. He blocks instead, so the 8 throw would have been fine. So the 8 throw was probably the obvious play. And sometimes there's no need to outlevel yourself. Sometimes the obvious play is better. He ended up drawing a 3rd ace in that last draw, so he picked up 2 more aces. So now we know he has 3. So the final arbiter's in play, so is the dodge. So we got some things to play around. And we just used one of the tools to play around that, so. Power up in response to that might not have been so bad, but I would have lost my dodges, so. At this point, it's kind of what I feel. I feel the 8th throw is still good. Now he has the final arbiter to go along with the pile bunker, but it still beats the majority of his hands. So I'm still thinking 8th throw here, which I do, and take a pile. Oh no, I 8 block. Sorry, and a pile bunker. So that's good. Showed the 2. And we drew off the block. So now there's another opportunity. I need to recurse that cue. 2 attack. Beats a lot of stuff in his hands that we still know about that he hasn't played yet. The dodge does not beat a lot of things that are still in his hand. So if I'm going to play the 2 for the cue, it's worthwhile to play it on the attack side. My follow-up's not great from that, but more opportunities to get the extra Q. As far as a cross-up, I could decide if he feels like he's going to, I feel like he's going to dodge, I could go ahead and 8 throw here. But I'm feeling at this point that probably just the 2 is fine, the 2 attack. Although it looks like I'm about to throw. I do throw for the cross-up. And instead, everything falls apart. He decides to play under my 2 either way. So neither button move would have worked. Did not take the jack into account. I didn't even take the jack into account there. If I was thinking about the jack, which I should have been since I knew about it, the cave lead was probably better. It's probably a better mix-up because it beats all those throws again. Beats everything except for the 2 aces. I'll go for the power-up here.
which is fine. I still have the 2 for the dodge. Let me pick up another mental toughness. Probably not necessary. At this point, king lead. He's still got another jack. That probably reminded me of it has a jack, so maybe the king lead's the best way to go here. I go with the Q, which is also a fast option. He plays his dodge. I'm thinking this is a good opportunity for a face down no matter what. I'd go ahead and do that. And I saved myself 8 damage, so I'd probably save myself a lot more. Because he definitely could have entered that with the jack. Getting in a territory here where getting rid of these may be okay, but it's also matches his jack, so it might be good for pushes. Now down the ground. Throw's good here, and ace is good here, which would beat his aces if he's going for the fast option. He still has all 3 of his aces. He may ace dodge again. In fact, the likelihood of an ace dodging is probably pretty high. The 9th throw is not as good as the 8th throw was, but the only other option would be maybe poking with a 6 or the 2. I go with the 9. Block. I go with 9 block. I keep getting screwed up here. Go with a 9 block, which does end up getting his cross up, which is good. It was a 50-50 play, which may have been better odds than my other plays. Get 8. We got a really full hand here, but so does the gray, so it's okay. We got that 8th throw back. Might want to think. Might think of 8 throwing here again. Been showing a lot of attacks and smashing the button a little bit. He may be due to go ahead and try to dodge. I don't think there's any blocks in his range. It's really to catch an ace dodge. Ace pretty much beats the rest of his hand, but I don't think that's necessarily. It's not necessary at this point. So I'm feeling the 8 throw on this. So I decided to dodge. I'm not sure what I was thinking about dodging into. Oh, it was a no opponent turn. Wow, I keep missing those. Going over replay is hard. I get rid of the jacks. I'm not sure if I needed to do that. But now I am on teapots here, so. After my draw. I powered up for the second ace, drew the third ace, so now I have a fairly silent teapots. It's not really silent because I did just power up for one. He may believe I have 2 behind. He may not. I do have a very full hand, so. The martial mastery might have given in the way that I have a teapots because I'm martial mastering to kind of look at my potential for it. Ditch the 9, probably the worst card in hand. We knew about the 3 aces. Now he has 2 jokers. The rest of the hand is very attack heavy. Those blocks aren't going to see the light of day. And these dodges aren't going to see the light of day. So he has a lot of poking potential. He has 2 aces to get back. So final arbiter plays probably very good for him. Because he can just get those right back. He has a point counterpoint. He's got a lot of really good options. Final arbiter. If I put him on the final arbiter play, my ace, any of my aces or my queen beats it. I think I'm more value are the teapots. It's really a question of what I put him on. I think teapots pretty much beats everything in his hand except for the dodge. He didn't really have super good combo options. I guess some. Could leave with the 7 attack into Yeah, it's not even that great either. So might go 6-7, AA, something like that. But I think this is actually a time to just run out the teapots and try to smack him for 45. If I feel I want to undercut his aces, I might as well go full hog. There's plenty of game left where I can get it back and try for another teapots play and bring my hand size down. So might as well be bold. The king play, however, does not beat his final arbiter play. So teapots would not have worked because he did riposte, which is definitely in his range, but I also thought the arbiter was in his range because of the sixes. Face down, I got way too many cards not to. He decides to go with the 26 play. It's actually 27. So now I'm sitting there with teapots in hand, which he's used all three aces. He's used one of the sixes, and that's it. Now he has two jokers, so I feel like if I'm going to play teapots, it's going to be raw. I could roll out the 2 to try to draw out an ace. Got plenty of blocks. I don't necessarily need the dodge. I'm not really looking to dodge into teapots right now, especially with 2 king jack jokers behind. So it's get rid of the jokers. Teapots raw. He has a lot of attacks, so block is probably fine too. Queen's probably fine. So queen, teapots. The 2, we'll try to get him to do the joker reveal. Any of those is probably okay. Block is probably okay. Still like to see that teapots just used, which I do. I hit the teapots against his point counterpoint. And I trade his 27 for my 45. I could power up the 8s to get back. I think I want to, I in hindsight, I don't know if I do or not, but I think I'd like to keep those. And I'm not sure if mental toughness is necessary to keep around, but certainly not, it's certainly not the time to power up for them yet. So I don't think a power up is right here, which I don't do. After that big play, I can keep my finger on the trigger. He may be a little weary after taking 65, so he may go for a dodge play or a... I don't think he'll block. He's at 11. I'm pretty sure he... Usually it's something like that. I don't know fourth queen's level or not, but if he's newer, he probably would take his, probably go in the more defensive position, which I think is what I put him on. So I'm feeling like a queen would be good here. Instead I go for a 6 to stuff a throw. I guess. Not sure if throw stuff was really something I needed. There was no chance he was going to block, so that was probably the wrong play. Got playing cards, face downing here to kind of keep my hand size down. And he comes back with his own. So we're trading some big blows here. He traded 27, I went into 45, and then he went to 27. So we're throwing some pretty big haymakers here. We're getting down to the point where I may need some aces. So powering up the 8s may be still a worthwhile thought, but the throws are probably more important right now. We could keep trading. We could... Excuse me. He did get the 4th ace. I did forget to mention that. So we know he has his 4th ace in hand. I'm probably more likely to throw. He knows this. He's probably more likely to attack. So I'm feeling like a K or a Q here. He decides to go greedy with another repost. And I got it properly with the throw. I stick with the throw. It would have been worthwhile to follow up. I would have done an extra 16, putting him at 9, which would have been well within a queen. So it was probably worthwhile to play the kings there. I did know he had the jokers though, so actually knowing he has the jokers, it was probably just fine to keep the knockdown. Even though now we know all four? No, mostly 3 of his aces. I must have missed. Oh, okay. When he dodged into 6 ace ace, he kept the dodge ace, so he actually did not find the 4th ace. Again, learning things as we go through this, so this is why this is really helpful, and definitely encourage anybody to always review their play. Knockdown. We only have a 2 for a cross-up, which could be fine. We don't really have much to link into. It would just be 16 damage. We put him back on the 9 damage. The 2 might be able to bait the Joker. Doubtful. He knows that I have 3 aces in yards, so it's not like I'm going to do that much. But really, it's probably a fast attack for him. He hasn't played any kings, so a king's very likely. So I think a Q here is probably what I would play. Instead, I play a throw. I undercut his throw. Not sure what I was playing throw against, but it worked out. And I do get one of the jokers. So I did bait that out quite nicely. Oh, asking me about my Oni, which, as we just discussed, don't play currently. I will get back to him though, for sure. If I feel he's going to throw, like I'll do a point counterpoint. There's a 5. We haven't seen much of that either this game. He's only used 1. I still think a king's very likely. I like a Q here. Instead we do a 5, we get the cross up. So there was that going for the 5 as well. So I think that's a legitimate play. That's fine. Showing my wonderful spelling of fundamentals. No power up there. If he was at 12, I probably would have. I probably would have powered up the 10s. I really don't need the counter at this point. I don't think. The king still gives me an option for 14. However, if he's going to be at 12 and then ace, then I probably would just power up the kings. But he's at 13. I would need a throw to land or a something into something. I can't do it in one hit with what I have. I take that back. I could do it with kings. He goes ahead and gold bursts me. I think that may have been desperation. He probably did not have any other options whatsoever. But, you know, it did save him 10 damage. Not sure what I'm doing there. Those kings are 14 damage. It's only 12 that does not kill, so that's a mistake. He goes Troublesome Rhetoric. It's time for me to go ahead and shut that down. I don't want him getting life. I want full options. That's pretty much one of the reasons it's there. Then we're going to just go over my option. I said I'd go for the 4 dodge. I'm not sure what I'm thinking of dodging into because a 12 does not kill. So, but I do know he has no more jokers left. Throw kills. A 2 into 12 kills. 4 into 12 kills. If I'm dodging, I'm saying that he's attacking probably like 100% of the time. So, which I wouldn't put him on that range. So, he does play one of the aces. Um, 10 throw certainly in the range. He's shown that he wants to repost a lot. So 10 is probably
good here some of the time. And again, a 10 throw will put me into kill range, so maybe worth a shot. I get underneath and put him at 1. Not saying that was a bad idea, but throw does seem like a possibility. Definitely want to see what's in his hand, get a better hand for myself. Now I have a 7 throw. He does have a point counterpoint. He has the 2 aces, 2 jacks. Again, a very attack heavy hand with a point counterpoint. Based on those options, my king beats everything except his final arbiter and of course the repost. The 10s do nothing. Only beats the repost really, because those are attacks. Would beat the block, but I don't think he's highly... He's got options here. He doesn't need a block. 7's pretty much identical. And the 2 doesn't beat the jacks, gets beat by a repost. So I think really my play here is the king. Usually the best option to win. He does play the repost. Again, he has some things he could play. He could play like a 7 jack. He does. He can't play ace ace, so it may be worthwhile here just play the joker just so I can get 2 draw. It will save some damage. I get knocked down for my troubles, but I did get the draw. My 3rd mental toughness. I have no face cards. I should be powering these up. I decided to power up for 1. 2 would give me the option if I drew into 1 to have a 0.4 and the 1 chip. And in fact, if I had powered those up in that, I would have had a 7 in teapots. So, I don't know. Probably not necessary. The 1 still beats everything he's got, with the exception of a king that has yet to be drawn. So let's see what he drew. And also giving myself more options. Drop 3. That's probably fine. I have the 2 2s. And lo and behold, there's the king. I cannot beat a king with this hand. It's a very safe one for him. Again, if I'm going for an option to win, the arc is the only thing that's going to give me that opportunity through most of his options. The question is, what is he going to play? I decide to play a block. He counterpoints. The ace would have definitely won it for me. Yeah, the block range really isn't that high. I think I was just kind of getting scared of the king, figuring that he was just going to play that. And instead, I lose. So, being a little scared at the end cost me the game. So it's 1-1. I go with the counter pick on DeGray and go to Zane. There we go. So, we don't need him. We want this. Okay. Which I've talked about Zane a little bit because I had Zane play a little while ago, but options here, crash bomb right off the bat. We could dodge into it, but it's my only dodge. These always get beat back on the point counterpoint, but this will beat everything else. Obviously the big meaties, which the only thing he has to beat meetings is the king. Nothing else really beats it. So meaties should work pretty well here. Excuse me.
So I hit the mic. I could go 6 block or I could go crash bomb. Block to build a hand, the crash bomb, they're gonna go offense, which, why don't you? That's Zane. Here he blocks. Notice this is the 3rd game now that he's blocked as an open. I did take that into account, I think for the last game, but I did not take that into account for this game. Instead I get bonked in my face. So now I'm knocked down, and he has an ace. Find an ace for myself. What do I want to do for a wake up? I could crash bomb again. It'd be kind of rough to get a second crash bomb out of 4 screwed up. I could 6 block, and I think the 7 throw is another option if I think he's going to block again. Those are the 3 options I would go with. It's really based on read at the time. It's hard to make a read here. I don't think he's going to block again, though. So I would go with the crash bomb route. I do go with the throw, and I get whacked. I go ahead and joker here, mostly to draw the 2 cards. Probably wasn't ultimately necessary, but yeah, it probably wasn't necessary yet. So we have 2 9s, 7 6 3. So things are pretty much the same as it was before. I really like to get something going because I do have a jack. So I think the 7 throw or the crash bomb, or the dodge and the crash bomb are my options here. I go with the 7, and I'm gonna get beat by point counterpoint. So first 3 combats not so good for me. So far he's hit me every step of the way. Some of it's definitely been bad decision making on my part. We got the 7 throw back. We could go ahead and lead the 7 throw once again. What am I throwing into? He's probably going to attack me a little bit more often. So I feel like crash bomb or dodging the crash bomb are the options I'd go with. I go with the throw again. Hit the throw button. It works out. Decided to kind of get that in there. Shenanigans delivers me a bunch of bupkis. So probably the 9 into the jack. Which is what I do. Try to get some damage on the board. And I get a good damage. Pair up the 6. He's down. He doesn't have a lot of options for the minis. He does have the king. We don't know if he has king or not. I might as well go ahead and make the obvious play. Crush bomb would be the other thing if I think he's going to play king. Instead, he goes ahead and blocks with the odd, probably thinking that that was the most likely of scenarios. So, not really much there other than a card draw. But we do draw a 5 throw. Mostly just another throw. Again, it does not beat point counterpoint. Powers up his 4 for an ace back. To me, that says he does not have any other aces. I don't think he would have powered up just 1 ace for the ace pair, especially using rhetoric. So I still put him on the 1 ace. 10s. I love dodging when I get a 10 dodge in hand. It's just one of those things like, okay, I'm going to dodge now. No real thought to it. It's just like, it looks pretty. It looks like a good dodge spot. And I could dodge in the crash bomb. He did draw the ace. It could just be throwing dodge in the dodge. So I think the play here is the dodge. Like I said, I like the dodge or the throw. And I catch him with the 5. I think it's fine. He's put me on a heavy throw range, so I think being dodge heavy or playing the crash bomb is probably 2 good things to do here. I could crash bomb here. Actually, it's probably assured to be 100% of the time crash bomb here.
Another 10. I don't think this is really a dodge spot, though. Really don't have anything to dodge in. I'd be praying there's just shenanigan gods. Which I could do by throwing the 5. And could meeting normal into 6, but I'd rather not break that up. And meeting into 3 seems kind of foolish. So I think here it's 5 throw. I do dodge. I did the ace, the shiny 10, so I'm going to use that. It was definitely wrong. Or I definitely feel it's wrong now. Oh, shoot. But I do the 5 throw the next turn. I don't think the queue really changed my decisions there, so. And I get poked. But I get poked only the once, so that's kind of curious. I didn't even play face down, so what does that tell us? Tells us he doesn't have a 3. Or if he does, he doesn't really care. There was no jack. Probably wouldn't end with a king there because he wanted to keep those for meaty defense. Definitely not 2 aces. So he's still probably on the 1 ace. Probably a lot of throws. Probably wouldn't want to throw a point counterpoint, so probably a lot of blocks, dodges, not a lot of attacks. Or if they are attacks, they're like the 5-6 variety. There's that 10 again. Again, there's really nothing I'm going to dodge into. It is now also my only throw. I think I'd like a block here, only simply because I really don't feel like I have... These aren't really the best options, I feel, based on what I know about the character. So I feel like a block here for some hand. And I end up blocking a pop bunker. Expected to see raw pop bunkers here, especially with his perceived throw range, although I really haven't thrown that often. So we picked up some options, we picked up the king. So now there is something to dodge into. We could just raw out the king. Raw king or the dodge in the king are probably fine. I like my 10 dodges. King would have been fine. The only thing the dodge does is it pulls up shenanigans. It might have been better to just crash bomb because really I'm not going to do anything else other than do that except for maybe play a jack. So I think that's something I need to keep in mind with Zane, that when you have an option like that where this is going to beat the attacks anyway, you don't necessarily dodge into it. I lost a card. I turned over 2 cards that I were less than the king, so that's something I need to keep in mind. So now I got 2 aces. So now Slipstream's in here, and we have one ace away from having anarchy. So I really don't feel like using these. There's potential to use one as a better meaty to kind of go into Slipstream phase for maximum damage. I could make the effort to go with the 2, even though it's crappy meaty. These might have a better benefit to be a potential ace, and otherwise this is pretty much the same card. So I think I like the 2 here. I go for the 6 meaty, and up losing the pair. It's pretty rough. I had the 3, but if I had the 7 or the 9, those would have been pretty much windmill slams, and those would have gotten through. So, and to add insult to injury, I draw the 3rd ace and would have had the 4th one ready to go. So now I gotta wait again. I think this is a good spot, the 5 throw here. It's really my only great option. I could poke if I think he's going to throw. He hasn't shown a lot of throw action. It's been mostly poke, but I think he might be slowing down on that front, so. I was wrong. Given he's been prone to poke,
he hadn't shown any signs of stopping off that plan, it might have been worthwhile for me to dodge or to play faster. But really, the only option I had was either dodge into whatever shenanigans pulled over, possibly a maximum anarchy if I flipped it. So I think there's a possibility block was the right call there. There's, I believe, my 4th 10. Yep. Again, really nothing to dodge into. So I don't really think that's it. I think if I block... I think a block's good here. Again, he doesn't show a lot of throw range, so he may throw, but I think a block is good here to try to see if I can get myself into a position to get a pair. Instead, I throw away the dodge for no particular reason. Then it looks pretty, as we've said. There's my pair, because it does feel like we're on the maximum anarchy plan at this point. It's been presented to us, and he's at 41. So obviously, I'm not going to play any of these. I feel like a block, again, is in order to give myself some more options, especially if I'm going to be dumping these. Instead, I 2, which comes under his power bunker. That's also reasonable, too, just because if I was looking to draw, that's going to give me a draw, and it's not like that 2 was doing anything anyway, so that's a reasonable play. Got poo-poo on the shenanigans. I didn't really want to use up any other cards, and we caught a jack for it, so it was a pretty crappy combo anyways, so that worked out. Obviously we have no creative destroyer, but now we have maximum anarchy. Now, question is, do we run it right out there? He's shown us a lot of pokes. We do know he has the ace dodge still. He may be worried that I may have access with the power up, especially powering up 2 Qs. May have been a tip off. So I don't think we play it here. Especially if I think he's on the dodge plan, I think the 8 throw is the way to go. I do decide to dodge. And really pretty much anything I had other than the 3 or 6. Manning up and playing the anarchy would have worked. I don't think it necessarily makes it correct, though. But to me, that should be a sign that he's not thinking I have maximum anarchy. So I think playing it here as a stand-up option and possible kill may be the right way to go. 5 throw here is also there if I was worried about the dodge as well. I do go with the safer 5 throw, and I do catch the dodge. We do get a jack, so it's pretty safe into jack 9. He also didn't play face down, which says he has no joker whatsoever. Now we're on a very small hand. And now he's also within slipstream range. However, I'm going to play slipstream, 2 ace. Maximum anarchy is going to beat anything that ace doesn't beat, which is the king. So if I'm going to throw up slipstream, I might as well throw out the anarchy. I think this is as good a spot as any. The throw is not exactly the greatest. I could block for some hand options. And end up throwing myself into jokers for him to get aces back. We still know he has another ace. Now he's at 3. Oh, he did use it. My bad. He did. He used it because we threw him off of it. So now he's back with 2 ace in hand. So now he's got that ace dodge again. Powering up for ace number 3. Do have a joker. So a thought here, or at least the thought that I had, was to split the aces. since the aces still would be a kill, and if it doesn't work, I have a joker behind to go ahead and do another slipstream. Kind of looking at it, I know in the forum, if you read this post, read my post before seeing this, which you probably most likely have, you know that that is what I do, and I will kind of flip through this because I think this is where we're at. And I think it's a safer option. I think obviously just rolling the 50 out there would have beat that king, and I just would have won, and the game would have been over, and la-di-da. But even now, considering that, that still seems wrong because if he rolled out his aces that we know he picked up, it would be double KO time. So I think throwing out the maximum anarchy. If I'm still on the maximum anarchy play. If it fails, I got Joker behind to draw 2 cards because it's most likely going to fail because, in fact, the only way it's really going to fail is for him to dodge. So block, of course, too, but he's most likely going to ace dodge if he does do a defensive option. So yeah, still think throwing out all 4 aces is the way to go. Instead of dodging the power bunker, both jokers are dodge away from power bunker, which gives me the slipstream. So took unnecessary risk. I think if I thought it out a little bit more, I could have not had that extra set of turns and just killed him with anarchy. All right, last match. Obviously, we're going with Zane again. Oop. Let's just experience technical difficulties. Not pay attention to this hand again. Oh, back up, back up, back up, back up. There we go. Okay. Kind of always saw what happened there, but if we look at our hand, 3 9s, 8, 2 jacks, and a queen. Some cards I would love to see, but nothing really to start anything out with. So really, it's a queen or a 8. I guess it could lead the jack, but I really hate to add it as a lead. Gets beat by his 2. Beat pretty much by everything by his pile bunker as far as faces are concerned. The one thing to consider here is he has blocked all 3 games so far. Putting him on the block play is probably fine. So I'll go ahead and throw. As predicted, he blocked for the 4th game in a row. Crash bomb we'll never see again. Option here is to go to 9 to jack. We could keep the 3rd 9 for 2 aces. 2 ace power up. I like the idea of 9 jack here just to throw on the damage. I decide to do some card conservation and keep the trips. Looking back, I might have just done the 9 just to get some damage in. Kind of a waste of 7 damage. Especially if I'm choosing not to power these up. Which I think is still good here because this is a perfect spot for a meaty 9. A throw here is good too if I think he's going to block. Decide to break it up. He does block, but not with the right one, so it's another jack coming his way. We picked up a 10 to use as a linker, so I must well get the free card there and throw in the jack. So we have another chance here to meaty him. I don't put him on any odd blocks because he used the even block. So I feel like this is another opportunity to go ahead and meaty him again. Which is what I do. This time he played the odd block. I don't know if he drew it or he just didn't think about using the odd block prior to. But that time he caught it. So, and now that's back in his hand, so the meeting is not going to work again when I activated another jack here. 5 throw. is probably the way to go here. It's really our only good offensive option. We could also dodge into minimally a jack to get him down again. I love those 10 dodges. Turns out to be the right option, which I did consider that as an okay option. So we have the jack. No ace in hand, so we can't do that. We're going to give away the fact we have no ace. Because it certainly would be worth to play the ace there, face down or not. At least I feel that it is. No need to go for the 5s yet to turn those in. Still better as a block. Choose Troubles and Rhetoric. I'm assuming this was a attack one. Yep. Now we could do that, but we do know he has the 9 block behind. There's no reason to do that. So it looks to be a possible throw scenario or a possible dodge scenario. No, excuse me, block scenario. So 5 throw. Instead of block. Oh, sorry. The obvious was also a point counterpoint, which is a typical play for off of that. So the 2 attack probably would have been sufficient, or one of the cues. Instead I get whacked. Block was nowhere in that range. I don't know why I played block. Pretty much the same situation, K throw dodge or excuse me, 5 throw dodge or K. It seems like he was poking me a lot last game, so I feel like Crash Bomb is probably the right play here. Which is what I do. And I get a bomb back in my face. He does get rid of the 9, he does pull up the 9 block again. Now we're at 3 Qs. Don't know what I'm going to do with 3 Qs other than probably power him up for 2 aces. From this spot, dodge is very likely. I don't think it's in the throw in this spot. So he could also mix up here. I don't really have any way to defend a mix-up. So so if he throws a 2 or a 3, that's going to not work. So I think the 5 is probably the best option here. And I do catch him. Block was definitely in the lower end of his range scale, so kind of surprised to see that. It signals to me that his hand's very, very poor. Since I also think I'm not going to get the 9 block, the 9 through because of the 9 block, I think playing the 7, the Q into the 9 for maximum damage. I decided to only play the 7. I'm guessing I was thinking it was going to be too low of a hand, but I'm not going to throw that 9 out, so that 9's a dead card anyway. Should have just thrown the 9 out there. Got a new dodge option. I also have a block option. Like I said, he's been poking me a lot, so a block might be good here to kind of expand my hand size. And I think I like that here. I chose dodge instead, and he did throw, finally. And I'm going to take decent damage back. No face cards, which is what he's been looking for. Which kind of surprises me with the throw again still, too, just because of how poor his hand has been represented, how bad his hand representation is of its quality. It looks to be very poor, especially with the follow-ups he gave. So, kind of surprised the throw was in that range, but you do need to kind of mix that stuff up. So, I feel it's another time for another block opportunity. A throw is really not there, I don't think. I could also throw in my own throw. Instead, I 6. So obviously I thought his throw range was fairly decent, or a point counterpoint, and ended up stuffing a pile bunker. And we have shenanigans options here into the 7Q9 for the win. which is exactly what we do. So we win that game. We win that series 3-1. Definitely, this was an interesting way to go through this. It was good to talk it out at a decent pace. I don't know what I did for the pacing for the video. I don't know if I did it faster or longer than the actual match would have took. This is definitely an experiment. I think on the next one I'll kind of go with the normal. I still have my recording from my last SummerSlam match. Or Summer Smash match. Excuse me, I keep calling it SummerSlam. Summer Smash match, and it's a pretty long one, so I think I'm going to do that in its original style, but it was kind of cool to kind of do it this way, and I may approach it from this direction again in the future. So thanks for checking this out and having me ramble for a while.